Good evening. This is Onleilove Alston, and I am the social worker here at NIDC. And I want to welcome you to our Domestic Violence Awareness Month virtual parent workshop for October. And we are just going to review some of the signs of domestic violence, what domestic violence is, who it impacts, and the resources we can utilize if ourselves or our child or someone we know is a victim of domestic violence, also known as intimate partner violence. Domestic violence brings to mind marriage and homes, but we also want to be mindful that intimate partner violence is a newer term that can apply to anyone, whether it's people that are in romantic relationships as adults, whether it's teenagers or children dating, whether it's heterosexual or same sex couples. And so we want to be mindful as parents, as guardians, as godparents, as those who care about children. We really want to be mindful that domestic violence and intimate partner violence can impact young people. And often with young people, it's taking place online with revenge porn, excessive texting, bullying online upon breaking up. So we want to be mindful of the fact that domestic violence also impacts men and women, and it impacts all races and classes of people. NIDC social work department does in-person and virtual parent workshops at our school sites. We also help host the monthly health hub workshops of Montefiore Medical Center at Eastchester Gardens Community Center. We do trainings for staff on trauma, domestic violence, and other mental health issues. And we also visit our sites at the beginning of the school day or at the end of the after school program for parent drop-in hours, or you can call or email me if you want to set up a time to speak outside of those hours. We also help connect parents to mental and social services for themselves and for their children. And just so you know, when it comes to our parent services, it's not just helping you be a better parent, but it's also helping you be a healthier person, a more emotionally regulated person, a safer person in and of yourself. And so we want to just start out and make sure we have a common definition of what domestic violence is, because we want to make sure we know what we're talking about. And just to be clear, domestic violence is not only when the hitting happens or the shooting or the physical violence happens, but domestic violence can be physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse. And so sometimes the physical part is the last manifestation, but that doesn't mean the other parts don't do just as much damage. And domestic violence is a pattern of destructive, harmful, and abusive behavior inflicted upon a family member or household member. And again, it can include physical, sexual, psychological, emotional, verbal, spiritual, and financial abuse. Domestic violence is also the use of physical, sexual, or psychological coercion to establish and maintain control over a family or household member. Domestic violence affects the workplace when an abuser harasses an employee who is on the job, when a victim is absent because of injuries from abuse at home, or when someone is less productive at work or less attentive at school due to stress when violence happens in the home. And again, domestic violence includes emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, economical abuse, and even things like revenge porn. And so this month, we want to share the One Love Foundation with you. You can Google them. And also, if you register for this workshop, you'll receive one of their blogs as a resource with NIDC domestic violence resources in Spanish and English after this workshop. But the One Love Foundation provides virtual and in person workshop materials for young people impacted to learn about healthy relationships, for straight relationships, for homosexual relationships, for even looking at how domestic violence impacts people who are differently able. And so, One Love Foundation is a phenomenal resource, and they have people all over the country doing workshops this month around domestic violence because this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And One Love educates young people about the importance of relationship health, empowering them to identify and avoid abuse and learn how to love better. But also, One Love does have workshop materials for college students and adults, and so be mindful of that. Also, be mindful of your mental health and any of your triggers. If you need to step away and listen to this training later, you can do so. Because I know that this can be a very triggering topic, especially many people are childhood witnesses of abuse, survivors of abuse. And so take care of yourself. And you can pause the training and come back when you're able. But just some facts about relationship abuse in the United States. Relationship abuse impacts 1 in 2 trans and non binary people, over 1 in 3 women, and nearly 1 in 3 men. And these are the statistics for the United States. And what this means is that these demographics have experienced some form of intimate partner violence during their lifetime. And so, one thing that is important is when we're learning about domestic violence and ending domestic violence, gender based violence, intimate partner violence, or even teaching this to the children in our lives, we need to know the signs of healthy relationships and unhealthy relationships. Again, we don't want to wait just until someone is physically abused to respond to domestic violence. Some signs of a healthy relationship are going at a comfortable place, not meeting someone and within the first date you want to marry them. Trust, honesty, independence, not relationships where people drop all their friends, their family, their hobbies, and just focus on each other. Often, abusive partners will want to isolate you from friends and family. Respect, equality, kindness, fun, and healthy conflict. So it's not that any type of disagreement or argument is under the banner of abuse. No, sometimes arguments and disagreements are not happening because a person is being abused and they can't have a voice in the relationship. Healthy conflict is not never disagreeing. Healthy conflict means that when you disagree, you know how to still maintain the respect. You're not verbally abusing by going for the lowest blow. You know how to rectify, how to apologize, how to agree to disagree. And then taking responsibility, not blaming the other party for everything that goes wrong in the relationship. So 10 signs of an unhealthy relationship are intensity. Again, you're meeting someone on the first date, you want to marry them. You want to speak to them all throughout the day. Possessiveness, they can't have friends and family outside of you. Betrayal, lying, cheating, isolation, manipulating, sabotaging someone. Often in relationships that are impacted by domestic violence, everything may be fine until the person is leaving for that major work conference, before the person's leaving for that major interview, before the person has to go to take the law exam or the medical board exam or the SATs or the PSATs, or before the person has to do that big presentation to graduate from school. Sabotage is when a partner will use abuse right before you have to take care of a major milestone in your life, sometimes making it so the person has bruises on their face and body so they cannot make appointments. Guilting, v- vo- vile, um, volatile relationships where yelling and screaming and throwing and happening all the time, belittling and deflecting responsibility. So nothing's never your fault. It's always the fault of the other person. And so now I want to just share with us the video, the Onleilove video concerning 10 signs of healthy and unhealthy relationships. And this is also something that you can share with your children and with the people in your life, because we want to make sure that from a young age we all understand what healthy and unhealthy relationships mean, because sometimes we can think that a relationship is healthy because of what we grew up seeing. We could think as long as there's no hitting, there's no abuse. And so we want to know these signs and teach these signs to the young people in our lives.
Onleilove teaches the difference between healthy and unhealthy relationship behaviors because everyone can benefit from learning how to love better. 10 signs of an unhealthy relationship. If you're seeing any of these 10 unhealthy signs in your relationship, don't ignore them. Understanding these signs can help identify a toxic relationship before it becomes dangerous or abusive. Intensity. When someone expresses very extreme feelings and over-the-top behavior that feels overwhelming. Possessiveness. When someone is jealous to a point where they try to control who you spend time with and what you do. Manipulation. When someone tries to control your decisions, actions, or emotions. Isolation. When someone keeps you away from family, friends, and other people. Sabotage. When someone purposely ruins your reputation, achievements, or success. Belittling. When someone does and says things to make you feel bad about yourself. Guilting. When someone makes you feel responsible for their actions or makes you feel like it's your job to keep them happy. Volatility. When someone has a really strong, unpredictable reaction that makes you feel scared, confused, or intimidated. Deflecting responsibility. When someone repeatedly makes excuses for their unhealthy behavior. Betrayal. When someone is disloyal or acts in an intentionally dishonest way. 10 signs of a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship does not mean a perfect relationship, but we can all strive to love better by practicing these 10 healthy behaviors. Comfortable pace. When the relationship moves at a speed that feels enjoyable and comfortable for each person. Trust. Confidence that your partner won't do anything to hurt you or ruin the relationship. Honesty. You can be truthful and candid without fearing how the other person will respond. Independence. Having the space to be yourself outside of the relationship. Respect. You value one another's beliefs and opinions and love the other person for who they are. Equality. The relationship feels balanced and everyone puts the same effort into the success of the relationship. You feel like your needs, wishes, and interests are just as important as the other person's. Kindness. You're caring and empathetic to one another and provide comfort and support. Taking responsibility. Owning your actions and words. You avoid placing blame and you can admit when you've made a mistake. Healthy conflict. Openly and respectfully discussing issues and confronting disagreements non-judgmentally. Fun. You enjoy spending time together and you bring out the best in each other. The best way to learn about love is through Onleilove. For more information about Onleilove and the signs of healthy and unhealthy relationships, visit joinonelove.org.
Oh, I am so sorry. I was talking and didn't know I was on mute. But I wanted to just say thank you for watching the One Love Foundation video on healthy and unhealthy relationships. And we want to make sure that we share with young people um, all the ways that relationships can be both healthy and unhealthy, because it is so, so important that young people have a clarity about, um, that young people have a clarity about the relationships that they're in, and also that young people have a clarity about what it means to be in a safe relationship. So I am sorry. I just want to pull back up our PowerPoint slides. And so, and I hope that you are able to make I hope that you are able to go on One Love Foundation and access the resources they have, because their resources are extremely helpful, not only for young people, but for many of us as well, who are adults. And so, if you give me a moment, we will be back on our slides. And One Love Foundation also has workshops that you can download and do yourself in your community, your faith community, your PTA. And so think about which of the unhealthy relationship signs stuck out to you and which one you've seen most in friendships, relationships, in the media. Do you see a lot of deflecting responsibility, possessiveness, manipulation, isolation? Do you see a lot of volatile relationships? And because this is such an intense topic, we want to just pause here and just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. A deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we invite you to take a deep breath just to help regulate your stress and your emotions, not only during this workshop, but when you're commuting back and forth to work. When your kids are being a little rambunctious, you can go in the bathroom and do that. But I also want to share domestic violence resources for you or anyone you know that is impacted by abuse. If you are in an abusive relationship, I want you to click off of this video and call 911 or call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is a 24-hour hotline all over the United States of America. The website, I believe, can be translated into different languages. If you go on the website, they'll ask you to X out so that no one can look up your browsing history and see that you were on that website, to keep you safe. And their number is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE or 1-800-799-7233. Their website is thehotline.org. Also, visit loveisrespect.org or text Love Is to 22522 or call one of their numbers on the screen. They also are a hotline where you can get advice about your relationship or a loved one's relationship, or if you have legal questions relating to relationships. Also, if you or someone you know is a survivor or of past or present sexual abuse, you can call RAIN, the National Sexual Assault Hotline. And it gives basic information for survivors or friends or family members of survivors and short-term crisis intervention and support around recovering from sexual assault and resources to assist with the reporting process via hotline or chat. Many survivors of sexual assault and childhood sexual abuse do not report because it can be a re-traumatizing experience. But RAIN, the National Sexual Assault Hotline, is here to help you be able to report in a safe way. And then the trevorproject.org, 1-866-488-7386, is the leading national organization in America providing crisis intervention and suicide prevention services to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, non-binary, and questioning youth. These are all confidential services, and most of the websites, if not all, can be translated into Spanish, French, and other languages. Connect NYC is a Harlem-based citywide nonprofit in New York City, directed by Quentin Walcott and founded by Reverend Sally McNichol. And Connect provides domestic violence training to men, women, and youth, including training for people who lead or are a part of faith communities. Connect also does virtual events and in-person events and trainings and works with both survivors and perpetrators of abuse. And Connect also has an annual Father's Day pledge on the steps of City Hall, and I believe other men take it around the country, where men come together not only to pledge to be good fathers, but to pledge to end gender-based violence. And those are mostly men of color. Go on connectnyc.org and check out their programs and resources. On Monday, October 30th, they will be starting a Men in Dialogue group virtually for men who speak Spanish. And you can RSVP or ask any questions to Marlon Walker from Connect. His information is right on the screen. And this is not for men that are just perpetrators or survivors of abuse. This is for men that just want to build with other men around issues impacting their intimate relationships, just a place to let off steam and to build with other men. But that is in a Spanish speaking men's group. If you email Marlon, he can tell you about events and opportunities for men who speak English. And then the mayor's office, or the New York office to end gender-based and domestic violence. This office develops policies and programs and provides training and prevention education, conducts research and evaluations, and performs community outreach, and operates the New York City Family Justice Centers. And this office, gender-based violence can include intimate partner and family violence, elder abuse, sexual assault, stalking, and human trafficking. You can visit them at nyc.gov/ENDGBV, and they have a calendar of events happening every month in October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. They also have the ability to, when you visit their website, you can have it translated into Spanish, French, Chinese, Arabic, and I believe more languages. And they also have a 24-hour hotline, 1-800-621-HOPE, 1-800-621-HOPE. And that is a 24-hour hotline for anyone facing domestic violence. Safe Horizon is based in New York City, but it's the nation's leading victim assistance network, and it operates a network of programs across New York City communities and systems. Safe Horizon works with the New York City office to end gender-based violence. They work with Connect NYC, and Safe Horizon works with survivors of all forms of violence, including racism, to move them from crisis to confidence. If you need help any time of the day and you live in New York, you can call the Safe Horizon 24-hour hotline at 1-800-621-HOPE. That's 1-800-621-HOPE. And you can also chat with them via their website. And if you're in immediate danger, remember to call 911 and you can visit them on safehorizon.org. Many of us wonder why those impacted by domestic violence don't just leave, but often when someone who is being abused attempts to leave, their risk of being killed by their partner increases. Also, for some, the abuse doesn't start until after they get married or after they get pregnant. Abuse deeply increases after pregnancy for many women, including African American women. And so you don't know when the abuse may have started. It may not have always been in the relationship, but also people need safety planning, access to housing to leave. And so organizations like Connect NYC, Safe Horizon, the Trevor Project, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the New York City Office to End Gender-Based Violence, and all of the resources we mentioned can actually provide safety planning assistance or point you to organizations who do that work. So when a person is ready to leave, they have a plan, they know where they're going, because even you wanting to help someone leave, you could jump up and go to help someone and actually be in danger yourself or put the person in more danger. And remember the National Domestic Violence Hotline, you can go on their website. You can chat on the website, thehotline.org, or you can even text START to 88788 if you need assistance. Also, they do have a feature where you X out when you're leaving the site so that no one can look up your browsing history if you need to confidentially get help. Also, if you are a survivor or a child witness of abuse of any kind, or if you're someone who just needs mental health support during these difficult times, if any of this information was triggering for you, that is understandable. New York City Well is a 24-hour, 7 days a week talk, text, and chat line where you can speak to mental health counselors. You can also get connected to mental health services, get connected to services for children. This website can be, when you go on, you can have it translated into Spanish, French, Arabic, Chinese, Russian, and many other languages. You can call 1-888 New York City Well, and you can text Well to 65173, or you can chat with them at newyorkcity.gov/New York City Well. And remember that New York City Well is here for all New Yorkers. And so if you signed up for this workshop, you will get the NIDC resource list on national and New York City based domestic violence organizations that provide help. And we will send that in English and in Spanish. If you want to get a copy of that resource list, make sure to be in contact with me at Alston at NIDCNY.org, or you can contact me at the number on the screen. If you are in the New York City area on November 15th, NIDC and Montefiore Medical Center will be having its second Health Hub workshop in person at Eastchester Gardens Community Center lunchroom. We will have healthy snacks and $10 gift cards for all who attend. And then the topic will be right before Thanksgiving, diabetes prevention. You're too sweet. Those workshops will also have Spanish translation available, and usually Montefiore Medical Center brings some gifts as well. And so, also at our various in person school sites, we do have workshops that will be happening throughout the year for your children at PS 96, PS 89, PS 483, PS 16. And each workshop, though, it happens virtually as well, and that is available to parents in any part of New York. To join, you don't have to have a child in an NIDC program. But if your child is in one of our programs, stay tuned for myself visiting your child's school to give out flyers for the flyers to be put in your child's backpack for you to get emails from myself and your parent coordinator and school staff and the NIDC program director on the upcoming virtual and in-person parent workshops. But just to give you a heads up, in November, our virtual workshop, which is open to all parents from all over, is Your Child in Tech Safety and Screen Time. How do we monitor the screen time of our children, but how do we keep them safe online? And that will be Thursday, November 30th from at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, I will be at PS 16, PS 483, Eastchester Gardens Community Center, and PS 89 and PS 96 for parent drop in hours, where I'm there if you need to privately talk about any mental health needs or social service needs for your children or yourself or your family. And also, if you can't make those hours or your child is not at one of those schools, contact me at my contact info on the screen and set up a phone call, Zoom meeting, or in person meeting with me as well. And so, thank you, gracias, and thank you for being with us. Remember, if you or someone you know is in immediate danger, in a domestic violence situation or any situation, call 911 or the National Domestic Violence Hotline or Safe Horizon. Do not delay. And thank you so much for your time.